Congressman, you got a lot of pushback, a lot of feedback from what you said yesterday about the value of so-called hearsay evidence. This is what you said. I'll play the clip.
I think the American public needs to be reminded that countless people have been convicted on hearsay because the courts have routinely allowed and created needed exceptions to hearsay. Hearsay can be much better evidence than direct, as we have learned in painful instances, and it's certainly valid in this instance.
Well, gentlemen.
All right, so among others, Donald Trump Jr. was tweeting this morning saying, basically, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. I want you to explain your point. Why is hearsay evidence better than direct evidence?
Well, first, I'm sure Don's done a lot of trials in his life. I've done probably over 200, so I might know what I'm talking about. The first message is this: if you don't like the testimony, if you don't like the evidence, quit blocking what everyone might imagine would be much more direct evidence. Mick Mulvaney, blocked. John Bolton, blocked. Rick Perry, their testimony's blocked. So don't complain that the evidence isn't direct enough when you're blocking what would obviously be more direct evidence. As far as the rules of evidence, they're not going to apply in proceedings like this, but the federal rules of evidence, which I'm sure Don knows so much about, create 23 exceptions to the hearsay rule. So obviously the courts understand just how credible it is. In the final analysis, it's how credible it is. Yesterday's testimony, often secondhand, was as credible as it comes. We know from experience in criminal courts that sometimes direct evidence, something like an eyewitness testimony, can be extraordinarily faulty. But we also know that what we might think of as hearsay, indirect evidence, the exceptions might be an excited utterance or a statement against the interest. We've learned from time and time again just how credible it can be. It's not that one is necessarily better than the other, but one can be better than the other. It depends on the circumstances, and I'm sure Don, with all his lengthy trial experience, can tell us all about it later on.